Hi guys, my name is Trinh and today I'm here to do my December wrap-up. I read 11 books in December and I actually read 100 books in 2019. I'm so happy about that. It was so stressful because I put so much pressure on myself. But you know, I'm glad that it's over. I actually accomplished my goal. So we're good. The first book that I read in December is Pilgrim at Tinker Creek by Annie Dillard. So this is a non-fiction book and I read this for school. It's also like a memoir, so the author goes in depth with her life at Tinker Creek. The thing that you have to know is that the author loves nature. So this book is literally just dedicated to nature and the beauty of it, but then also like the bad side and how the animals eat each other, I guess. The writing is so good. Even though I don't relate to the author and what she's going through, I can still appreciate the writing. It was just beautiful. The writing really captures my attention. But when it comes to the actual book, sometimes I find it really interesting, but sometimes I find myself really bored because, like I said, this book is about nature and what's going on at Tinker Creek. But then also the author talks about other subjects as well. So many things going on at once and everything is blended together. So half the times I don't even remember what I just read because I feel like it's so much information given to you. But still, I really enjoy this book and I feel like if you're like a big non-fiction fan, nature fan, good writing fan, then I think you should pick this up. I give this book 4 out of 5 stars. I really enjoy it and I thought I was gonna hate this book, but no, I liked it and I really appreciate this book because you can tell that the author did so much work for this. The second book that I read is called Theveldt by Ray Bradbury. I read this short story for school and I really enjoyed it. The story follows this couple. I don't remember their names. I'm so fucking sorry. But basically it follows this family. They live in this happy life kind of thing. So the house is like advanced when it comes to technology. There's this room called the nursery and the children would use that room to have fun and use their imagination. When you go into the nursery and then you just conjure up an image, it is basically in real life. You see it right in front of you. So the parents basically let their children use the nursery all the freaking time, but then in the beginning of the book, the wife is very suspicious of the nursery room because she finds it really weird how they keep seeing the veldt, this African landscape with the lions, with all these things, but the biggest threat is the lion. So of course the parents are not happy about this. Like they're kind of like freaking out and it's kind of weird. That's all I can say. This story was so good. It's a short story, like I said, but damn, I was captivated because the writing is really great, but then the characters and of course what happened in the story, it was just really good. I find it very interesting how this short story was written back in the 1950s. I read this in December of 2019 and I could easily see how it relates to our culture and the fact that we really depend on technology. But not just that, we let the younger generation use technology to have fun. And that's literally the message of this book, how technology has like a positive and negative influence on the kids. So of course I give this story 5 out of 5 stars. It was really good. Like I said, it's a short story. You can find a PDF online and I highly recommend reading this short story if you have the time. Like it's really short. The third book that I read in December is Mooncakes by Wendy Sue and Susan Walker. If you don't know, this is actually a graphic novel and there are illustrations, obviously. That's what a graphic novel is. Wow. So this story follows 2 main characters. So this is Nova and this is Tam. Nova is a witch and then Tam is a non-binary werewolf. It's very magical because this deals with, you know, witchcraft and like demons and all that fun stuff. So in the beginning of the book, there is like a threat going on in the forest and Tam goes back to their hometown and they are reunited with their best friend, I guess. I'm not sure if they were best friends when they were young, but they were like friends. They were neighbors, I guess, and then they grew close together, but then like Tam had to go away. So yeah, this story is really about them defeating the bad guys. I will say that it was a struggle for me to read this because this is an arc, so it's not even finished. Like it's not colored in, but then I noticed that there are some panels that don't have of dialogues, and they should have dialogue. So of course when I was reading it, I was like, wait a minute, this character is supposed to say something but there's nothing there. And I noticed that like 2 or 3 times. It's just because I have the ARC, I don't have the finished copy. The romance feels really rushed, and that's like something that I'm not a big fan of. I know that they were really good friends when they were young, but at the same time years have gone by, and just seeing these two characters get together immediately was really weird for me, because I'm like, wait a fucking minute, just because you guys are close doesn't mean that we know about it, because I feel like we don't get a lot of information regarding their childhood and how they were like really close friends, what really happened to Tim to make them leave. I mean, yeah, we get information, but afterward. That's why the romance feels really rushed, because it happened like at the very beginning. I really like the representation for both characters. So for example, Nova, she has a hearing aid, and then Tim, like I said, they are non-binary, and I think the rap is done really well. The plot is generic, like it's very predictable. I could tell who's the bad guy and what's gonna happen, but still I like the characters and I like the story. I think it was really cute and whimsical. So I give this book 4 out of 5 stars, and if you're interested, I think you should check it out. The 4th book that I read in December is The Afterlife of Holly Chase by Cynthia Han. I read this book last year and I had to reread it because it's like perfect for the holidays. So this book follows our main character Holly Chase, and she is a real bitch in the very beginning. I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. She is a fucking bitch, okay? She's actually really mean, really mean and really horrible. In the beginning of this book, she is visited by the 3 Christmas ghosts, and they tell her that she should change her ways, you know, because she's gonna die if she's going to be this horrible person. And she's like, fuck you guys, this is not real. And then of course she dies, and then she is recruited to this project called Project Scrooge, and I think that's all I can say for the synopsis. This book is really hard to explain because I don't even know if it's like a fantasy book. Like it has fantasy element regarding the fact that this bitch is dead, and yet people can still see her. She's still functioning as like a human being. This book explains, you know, what really happened and like the phenomenon, but I can't do it right now because I'm still trying to remember what the hell happened. The thing about this book is that we really learn a lot about Holly's life and her parents and what really happened when she was young, because she finds someone who is the same as her. The next Scrooge happens to be this guy named Ethan, and he's like 17 years old. Holly was 17 when she died. When she started to find out about his past and his relationship with other people, she's just like, wow, this is kind of like mine. Oh, I forgot to say that she is the ghost of Christmas past. So this story is just about Holly and how she's a horrible person, but then of course she changes her ways. I think that's why I really like this book, is because Holly is a very complex character. She is so shitty, but there are good moments. You want to root for her. I root for her, okay, for like a long time. I feel like the biggest criticism for this book is the writing, and I do understand because the author uses the word like so much. The writing isn't the best, it's not, okay, but I like the story, I like the characters. I feel like I really get to know all of them, and of course Holly is the main focus of this story. So I personally like this book. I give this book 4.5 out of 5 stars. It's really good. I loved it. Well, do I love it? Oh my god, I feel like I really enjoyed it. I don't think I can say I love it, no, but I liked it like a lot. This is really weird. Okay, let's just end this portion right now. I highly recommend reading this during like the holiday season. I think that's like the perfect time to read this. The 5th book that I read in December is In the Afterlife by Alexandra Bracken. I finally read this book. Oh my god, I keep talking about how much I need to read this book, and I'm so glad I did because it's been like 2 or 3 years, okay? So if you don't know, this is the 3rd book of a series. It's called the Darkest Minds series. Okay, here's the fucking thing. It was supposed to be a trilogy, but there's like a 4th book. It's a companion novel. It takes place 5 years after this has ended. So it's really weird to talk about this because I don't really know what to say. Like, in a way, this is the final book of a trilogy, but then we have an additional book. So it's really weird. This series is dystopian. So in this world, basically in the United States of America, it's really bad for the kids because there's this disease that kills so many children, but the children who survive this disease, they have superpowers, so they are categorized by colors. So we have like red, orange, yellow, green, and blue. Our main character Ruby, I believe she's an orange, but in the first book she pretended to be a green because the punishment isn't so bad. So in the first book she escaped from this camp called Thurman, and then she meets other characters, Liam, Chubbs, Zoo. That's all I can say for the first book. A lot happened in this book, but I feel like I didn't love it as much just because our main characters were in one place. They were stuck at this headquarters, and I feel like Ruby did not go out a lot. We were just stuck in one place, and can you imagine being stuck in just one place and just dealing with everyone? It was just a lot in this book, but I liked it. I really like the characters. I feel like all of them have grown so much, especially the main character Ruby. It's important to see her grow and to see how she adapts to these changes and how she rises to be a leader for like the other children. I'm going to deem this book as the final book because I am not planning to continue with this series, okay? This is the finale for me. I'm sorry. I'm not reading The Darkest Legacy, okay? That shit is too thick for me. But anyway, I'm gonna give this book 4 out of 5 stars. I really liked it. I'm not like obsessed with this series, to be honest, just because I don't love the characters as much. I appreciate them and I like reading about them, but I don't love them, you know. The 6th book that I read in December is Wicked Fox by Kat Cho. I read this book with Sandy, my parabatai. Out of all of the books that I read, this was the one that really stood out to me. I loved it. It was excellent. Now, a trigger warning for this book, child abuse is in here because like the main character's mother, it's a little bitch, okay? I'm not gonna say much. So this book is about our main character, Mi-young, and then the boy, Ji-hoon, the boy. Wow. So Mi-young is a gumiho, which is a 9-tailed fox. And basically in the beginning of this book, a goblin attacks our boy, Ji-hoon. Mi-young saves him and, you know, she fights the goblin. But during that fight, her fox bee escapes from her. Throughout this entire book, she just gets really weak because the fox bee is supposed to be inside her body, but now that it's not anymore, she just gets really weak. And then of course it's about their friendship and how it progresses from there. This book takes place in Seoul. I think this is the first book that I have read that takes place in Seoul, and I was really excited because I really enjoy seeing the main characters and how they interact with like the people in their lives and the culture. That's like very important because I feel like the Korean culture is similar to the Vietnamese culture, so it was nice to see that. Before I read this book, I was already familiar with like this fox girl narrative. I find it really interesting that it was applied to this story, and I loved it because I really find the fox girl narrative very fascinating. So the characters, I really like Mi-young, I really like Ji-hoon. I also like the side characters as well. These two characters right here, they have my heart. Oh my god, it's so nice to see their friendship and then of course their relationship afterward. But I will say that it's so complex. It's just going in different directions because like Mi-young is dealing with so much when it comes to her mom, and of course Ji-hoon is being roped into this predicament because he knows about her. There's different perspectives and different opinions regarding gumiho because people see them as like the devil and people see them as human because technically Mi-young is half human, half gumiho. So, you know, it's very interesting, and this book is just really good. I would say that the ending feels really rushed, but it's fine, you know, because I'm willing to look past that. We are getting a second book. I believe the second book is called Vicious Spirit. It's coming out in the fall of 2020, and I'm very excited to read the second book because after this book I need more. Like there's so much more that we did not really delve into, so cannot wait to read the second book. I really enjoyed the story and the characters and like the fox girl tale. I enjoyed the plot twist. Oh my god, the plot twist, so good. I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. I had to, okay? It feels right to give this book 5 out of 5 stars because I really loved it, and I cannot wait to read the second book in the fall. The 7th book that I read in December is Check Please by Ngozi Ukazu. So this graphic novel is about a main character, Biddy, and how he goes to college and he's like a hockey player, but He's a very, like, how do I say this, different hockey player from everyone else because he was a figure skater and then he thought that he could handle hockey, but you know, it's much different. But I like seeing, you know, his growth and how he's friends with like the hockey players, especially the captain Jack. Is it Jack? Oh my god, I don't remember his name. Yeah, okay, Jack. Wow. It's very funny. The first half I was just cracking up and I could not believe that this book already has my attention at the very beginning just because of the humor. Biddy is gay, he is a vlogger, he loves Beyonce. I love Beyonce. I love Queen Bee, and I just realized that the lighting is getting darker. In this graphic novel, there's like a section, I think it's like the last half. The first half is when he's like a freshman, the last half is when he's a sophomore. And when he gets a new room and he's vlogging, there's a poster in the background and it's a Beyonce poster, and I was like, wait a fucking minute. I have that exact same poster. I recognized it because it's in my dorm. It's crazy. Oh my god, it was really crazy. And then of course we see Biddy listening to Beyonce. So it's just really good because I relate to that. I will say that when I finished this graphic novel, I felt underwhelmed because the last half was fucking boring in my opinion. The first half was really good because it's, you know, the freshman year and we see how he is going to school and trying to figure things out because he's a freshman. But the last half, I was just so confused because the characters are hockey players. When they're talking about hockey and shit, I was just so confused. Maybe people who love hockey can, you know, read this book and love it, but I know nothing about hockey. So of course when I was reading this book and when they're just talking about hockey in the game, I was so confused because I don't understand anything. But not just that, I feel like the last half, so many things were happening and I couldn't really keep up, so it was just really weird. But then also Biddy has like a crush on the captain Jack, and I feel like I don't really see that. Like I see them interacting with each other because Jack is the captain and Biddy is not the best hockey player, so they have to work together. But other than that, I didn't really see Biddy having a thing until it's, you know, very obvious. I don't love this graphic novel. I wanted to love it, I really did, but I didn't love it. I liked it though. It's okay, and I know that the second volume is coming out soon. I'll read the second part if it's like really amazing. But for this one, I'm gonna give it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. If you're like a big fan of hockey and you know what's going on and how it works, then you can really enjoy this book. Now the 8th, 9th, and 10th books I read in December are all in like a series. So it is the Infernal Devices trilogies. Each one is a manga. So this is Clockwork Angel, this is Clockwork Prince, and then this is Clockwork Princess. If you don't know, the Infernal Devices by Cassandra Clare is my favorite series of all time. So of course when I purchased this, I knew that I had to read it because if you think about it, we don't really have an adaptation for the Infernal Devices. We have a movie for City of Bones, we have a TV show for The More Instruments, but we don't have anything for the Infernal Devices, and honestly I'm okay with that. I don't want anyone to touch this, okay? Like if you're gonna ruin it, don't touch it. So I'm very happy to have this in manga form because we basically get to see the characters, what's going on in the novels being brought to life. So let's quickly talk about Clockwork Angel. This is the very first volume of this series. The manga is really cute. I really like seeing everyone being drawn like this. I will say that Henry was done so dirty because he's fucking ugly. Everyone looks really nice except Henry. Like what the fuck is this? So if you see here, this is Will. So this is his eyes, you know, like those manga eyes. I knew how to draw them when I was young because I was like obsessed with manga. I could tell that the illustrator put in so much work for Will and Jem and Tessa because look at how he is drawn, okay? You see the hair, you see the eyes. Henry, on the other hand, looks fucking ugly because first of all, his eye is nothing like this. It's just 2 dots. That's it. I was so confused because I was like, who the fuck is this? And then when I realized that it's actually Henry, I was like, wow, what did Henry ever do to you? Like Henry is a sweetheart. Henry is amazing in all 3 books. Why is he so ugly in the manga? So here's the thing about the manga. When I was reading this, I could easily follow the story because I read the trilogy like twice. So of course I remember the details, I remember the characters. As I was reading, I just think to myself, like if anyone who has never ever read the trilogy or like know know about the Shadowhunter world, I don't think they can enjoy the manga. I could be false, but at the same time, when I was reading like this one, for example, I noticed that the transition is really abrupt. We're following this main character and then we just kind of like stop and then we follow someone else. So I don't know if people catch on to what's going on, that's the thing. But then also the side characters are not really in the manga. So here we have two side characters named Agatha and Thomas, and they were barely in it. But then also the explicit scenes are something else, okay? Like you really get to see Jem being tortured when he was a child. You actually see that in this book. It's really sad because what happened to him is really sad. So I think that's all I have to say for the first one. I gave Clockwork Angel 3 out of 5 stars. And then for Clockwork Prince, so this is when I noticed that some scenes from the novels are not in here, and I was so mad about that. It's just because I'm like a huge fan of the novel, so I really want to see how it's being adapted. I do understand why the illustrator did not include all of the scenes from the novel. Like I get it because it's just too long, but I will say that there is one scene that should be in here. I think it's just so important, and the fact that we don't have it is a bad move in my opinion, because it has a huge effect on the last book, Clockwork Princess. But then also Sophie and Gideon, oh my god, in the novel it's just really cute because we get to see these two side characters and how they meet and how they both fall in love. We don't see that in here at all. It's just me being nitpicky because I love the novel so much, but you know, it's fine. It's fine. It's okay, Trinh. So for Clockwork Prince, I give this 3.5 out of 5 stars. And then of course the last one, Clockwork Princess. This is the very last manga in the series because it is the last novel of the trilogy. This one, oh my god, the explicit scenes are done so well. When it comes to the novel, there are so many scenes where it's just really horrifying because we get to see quite a lot of people die. So this is just an example. So here on this page right here, you see what happened to her arms. You see that shit? And then on the next page, you get to see that she's like screaming in pain. Do you see how horrifying that thing is? Again, the same thing as Clockwork Prince. There's like a lot of things being left out and like some storylines are not done well. Like I said, it's just me being nitpicky, so like it doesn't really matter. It kind of does. It really does. So for this, I'm gonna give it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. The same rating as Clockwork Prince because for like the last 2 books, they have like the same issues. But I'm very grateful for this manga series because I really enjoy, you know, my time reading this because it's like my favorite trilogy. And even though not everything is done the way that I would have liked it, I still really appreciate this because it's like the only thing that we have when it comes to like an adaptation to the Infernal Devices trilogy. The last book that I read in 2019 in December, the decade, oh my god, that's crazy, is Soul Like Thunder by Sophia Elaine Hansen. There are some trigger warnings for this poetry book: sexual assault, depression, anxiety, and chronic illness. There is like a list of trigger warning at the very beginning of this poetry book, and I really appreciate that because I think it's important to always have like trigger warnings. It's like right here, okay? So in this book, Sophia really talk about different issues and like what happened to her when it comes to like heartbreak and love and sexual assault, because Sophia went through so much shit regarding that. Like she's very vocal about it. So each poem is pretty short, and I find that I'm not a big fan of that anymore. I just like longer poems. That's why I didn't love it as much. There are some poems that are really good. Like I tapped them obviously, but I took a poetry class in the fall and I just really appreciate longer poems now. So that's why I didn't like resonate with this poetry book. I give this book 4 out of 5 stars. If you're like a big poetry fan and you don't mind shorter poems and you want to read about her experience, then of course get this book, Soul Like Thunder. I will have the link down in the description box below. And you know, it's important to support Sophia Elaine Hansen because she's a great human being. So now that we have this video over with, I cannot wait for 2 videos, okay? 2 videos. You're getting these 2 videos after this one. Disappointing books of 2019, favorite books of 2019. I cannot wait to have those videos up. I was supposed to have them up the end of December, but that didn't work out because I really want to read a bunch of books, okay? Like I want to make sure that the year has ended so I can make this list. So like I said, those videos are coming up. I'm sorry that it's like a little bit late, but it's better late than never. So that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe for more videos, and I will see you guys later. Goodbye.